Welcome to the Homeschool High School podcast, brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. I'm Vicki, and I am here to talk about public speaking today because it's an inescapable thing. Even teens who are terrified about public speaking more than likely are going to need to speak in public at some point in their lives. So if they have some tools in a non-threatening and even fun way to get some confidence and skills in public speaking, they will be better prepared for the rest of their lives. So let's start with, why and when would teens possibly need to do some public speaking or speech class, you might want to call it. So think about teens who are in a co-op, in group classes, if they're doing dual enrollment in college, or if they're going off to college. In all of those settings, it's highly likely at some point they are going to be doing a class presentation, right? They will be in front of a group of people and they will be presenting information. That's public speaking. How about if they help out in Sunday school or VBS, and they are helping to teach a lesson or show kids how to do a craft? That's public speaking. What if they go on a missions trip and, have to explain a little bit of the gospel or some other kind of presentation in a group? That's public speaking. What if they become entrepreneurs and take a workshop from Small Business Administration, and learn how to do some networking, have to get out there and rub elbows in the community? All of that's public speaking. So this is kind of endless. Public speaking happens, and that is a really good idea to help teens have some confidence for doing it. I can think of right offhand one of the stories that my personal teens ran into. So my daughter, when she was in 11th or 12th grade, was taking some photography courses at the local community college because we ran out of things that we could teach her photography wise. And they had a great visual arts program at the community college. Well, the woman who ran the visual arts program got wind that the board was having a discussion about cutting funding for that program. And, just like on the fly, she's headed down to the board meeting to address them. And she sees my daughter, who was really loving the photography classes. And she said, "Hey, listen, please come with me and tell the board why they should not cut funding for the visual arts program." And so my daughter, between, seeing her teacher and walking down this very long hallway, has to extemporaneously come up with some topics to talk about why that funding shouldn't be cut. And guess what? The funding was not cut. Fortunately for my daughter, she told me later, she said she used her skills that she learned in learning public speaking because she and my younger kids and all their friends took public speaking, the Seven Sisters curriculum, when they were in high school as a group, and just had a blast doing it. So anyway, let's talk some more about that. So public speaking or speech is a useful life skill. It is going to happen. But like a lot of subjects, we can make it horrible and stressful, or we could make it fun. You can make speech fun. It can be a fun course. So what we did is what we wanted to do is take the terror out of public speaking, and we worked it into a more fun situation. So with our teens and in the curriculum, you'll see that they start their group sessions out with some deep breathing. So they all learn some nice deep breathing skills. Breathe in nice and deep, expand your diaphragm, purse your lips, breathe out slow. And you know what? It may sound a little silly, but you do that 2 or 3 times and your stress hormones are lower and your brain is thinking more clearly. And then they do some tongue twisters like round and round the rugged rocks the ragged rascals ran. And what they were doing is loosening up all those muscles in their mouths. And besides, it's fun. If you get a group of kids saying tongue twisters together, somebody's going to be laughing. And as soon as you laugh, you can learn. So we would do that. We do a little bit of stand up and move your body, relax the body, and then get into public speaking, nonverbal stances, and just practice the basic atmosphere of feeling confident in your body and in your words. Okay, so those kind of things are in the text that Seven Sisters offers. All right, and then they would have a lesson, and in the lesson, they would have a topic that would be a non-threatening. So they did not start out at the beginning of the year and take on, why the whole world should become something or the other. They didn't talk about, like 10 different kinds of dogs. Instead, they started with something very, very non-threatening. So with our kids, we started with presenting some kitty lit, children's literature. And we would pass around children's books like Hop on Pop or Green Eggs and Ham or, other favorite kids' books. And they would have interactions with the books and sit down, and have fun reading them to each other. And then eventually they would practice enough that they could read the book out loud to the group. So there was a week of Kitty Lit. They would present a Bible reading one week, some spoken word poetry one week, a humorous monologue one week. They would do visual how-to speeches, an expository speech. So like, how to wash your car, things like that. A visual aid how-to speech lasted several weeks for them so we could get the whole group in. They would do a biographical report, another kind of expository speech, take somebody that's interesting to it and do a very simple report. So they're not, like killing themselves. The point was just the practice of the material, not the material itself so much. They did elevator pitches, which are a blast. They did sales pitches. They did infomercials as a group. And then we practiced something really practical, interview skills, because you know what? That's a really inescapable kind of public speaking. And then they even did a children's Bible lesson at the end. So there are 15 different lessons that they would do as a group. And it's just having fun with different kinds of speaking. And in doing that, in the encouragement from each other, in the funness of the atmosphere, is it took a lot of the sting out of public speaking. And so that even the teens who felt shy felt like they had skills that they could go on and use when they needed to use them. So then they could practice when there were family events, like, have a big Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's together. And that teen, if someone called on them to do the blessing, they could do the blessing at the dinner table. Some teens also added doing drama. Once they got the ball rolling, they go, you know what? Being in front of people and saying things isn't so bad. And so they kind of launched into theater and did readers theater or drama camp and things like that and had fun. Some of them actually then would add to it, got so interested in public speaking that they added local speech competitions, like our local American Legion was part of the national speech competition each year for the American Legion, like patriotic topics. The English Speaking Union, a few of our teens did their annual competitions. A lot of them did poetry out loud every year. And then our local ACSI, the Christian School Organization, every year had speech competitions in it and invited our kids to come and participate. Some years we had debate team that we would add to that and follow the official curriculum that HSLDA had put out many years ago and do that. And then sometimes teens didn't and just did the basic curriculum. So let's say your teen is ready to add some speech training to their high school curriculum. So here's some different ways you can do that. So one is just work through the Seven Sisters curriculum. And according to the amount of time they want to invest in it, they could get half a credit or full credit for the materials in the lessons, just according to what the time they're spending on it. And so if you look in the teacher's guides and all, you will find out how to help them decide what they are aiming for. But it is a useful thing. They can record that as an elective on their homeschool transcripts, or they can use that extra time for leveling up material if they've got an ELA credit that they'd like to level up. Some teens don't want to take on a whole year of speech class, and so they would prefer to have it kind of chunked out. So we'll have a lesson or two here, lesson or two here, lesson or two here. And so for those teens, we've included some public speaking interactions, some of the materials from the text in each of the ELA bundles. So if you get our basic ELA bundles, there's the ninth grade version is the 1 year of ELA, and then the next one for 10th grade is another year of ELA, because we try not to be too rigid on which ones are for which year. So we have goofy names for it. But anyway, there is some public speaking in each one, but not a whole semester or not a whole year. It's just a little bit of it. So they get a taste and kind of keep it fresh year by year. Because all teens are different. There's not one right way to homeschool high school. So you want to do public speaking training in a way that works for them. So if they want to just chunk something out, you do the Seven Sisters ELA bundles and you'll get what they need that way. Or you could take like half of the text and do it 1 year and the next half the next year. And so you're doing like a quarter or a half of an elective credit according to whatever they need, like what are their goals. Does that make sense? Now, if you've got a teen who is working on their own, like, some homeschoolers live in a community where there are lots of other homeschoolers around. So they've got co-ops and group classes and things like that. In those cases, it's real easy to pull together a speech class or a public speaking class or a speech, just extracurricular group. So we had our group, we called it the Rhetoric League, and had it under our, some years, our umbrella school. And some years it would be in our big support group. So we had a huge support group with lots and lots of different families, and that would just do extracurriculars. And so they called that the Rhetoric League. And so they got, an extracurricular to write on their transcripts in learning rhetoric skills, the public speaking skills. So that's a way you can do it. If you have a co-op, make sure you communicate with the parents, on how to record this as a credit. So, we want, in our opinion, is for teens and the parents to make your own choices on how you record these things on the transcripts. Now, some teens live not near a co-op, not near any group classes. They're just not having that available. And so there are some online schools who do the public speaking as an online project. And that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just as valid as anything else. So if you are in an online course or an online, like speech club, you write that kind of stuff down on your transcript too. And so we have, a few of those groups who like the Seven Sisters curriculum and have used it. So, and then you got teens who just wouldn't want to do that online. And so they are not near a co-op, and so will need to do their public speaking training on their own. And there is nothing wrong with that. So we've heard from families that their teens would do their presentations that from each of the lessons in the Seven Sisters public speaking curriculum. They would present to the grandparents. They would present when the older siblings came home from college, for a break. They would sometimes just present to the parents. They would present to the little, nice old lady next door. So they, whatever was available and fit best for them, because there's not one right way. And the point is the skills, not the size of the audience or who's in the audience. So, a very, very shy teen might need to just present for mom. And if that teen was learning the skills and the nonverbals and everything, that's a valid way to present that. So we want to meet teens where they are and make it work for them, because they matter and your family matters and public speaking matters too, because somewhere in life they are going to be using those public speaking skills. So, okay. If you're interested in the public speaking for homeschoolers, I'll put links in the show notes, because it really is fun. And I really, really highly recommend it for all high schoolers to have a chance to learn some public speaking, especially in a non-threatening way, in a way you can laugh together and have a good time and be inspired, but also know you got skills that you can use when you need them, because it will come. All right. Well, this has been the Homeschool High School Podcast, brought to you by SevenSistersHomeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. And thank you so much, Seth Tillman, for editing. And we will see you all next week.